Right, so I think when HCAM's ready, we can do our beginning. Okay. Good evening, my name is Amy Roderbrush, and this is a select board meeting for April 25th, 2025. I call the meeting to order. This meeting of the Hopkins Select Board is being held both in person and remotely using the video conference platform Zoom. I believe Irfan Nasrallah will be participating remotely tonight. Is he on the Zoom? No, he might join later though. Okay, so when he joins later, we'll make sure we can hear him. But the other select board members are present at Town Hall, room 215, 216 in person. Let's see, the public has the option of attending in person here at Town Hall or via Zoom using the link posted in the meeting's agenda. This meeting is being recorded. All votes will be taken by roll call vote. Well, when Irfan gets here, I guess, when he's here. So our first motion of the evening would be to enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 28, Section 21A, Purpose 2, to consider strategy with respect to negotiations with non-union personnel, town manager and police chief, including vacation payout. Also, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 6, to consider the lease, purchase, sale, or value of real estate in relation to properties in the vicinity of Town Hall. The general property, 0 Spring Street, 0 West Main Street, Lot B, rear West Main Street, and 3 contiguous parcels on College Street, totaling 20.74 acres. Because an open meeting law meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the board. Also, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 3, to consider strategy with respect to litigation. 1, New England Laborers Training Trust Fund and all versus the Town of Hopkinton et al. Civil action number 2381-CV-00948. And 2, Costa Brothers Masonry, Inc. versus Suratech Insurance Company and Avatar Construction Corporation versus Town of Hopkinton civil action number 2281-CV-03297, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the board. Also, to approve executive session minutes, and also to allow Norman Kamalo and Elaine Lazarus to participate in the executive session, and to reconvene an open session at the conclusion of executive session.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
And then a roll call vote.
Frenier, yes.
Scheidemann, yes.
Amy Roderbrush, yes. Okay. We will be back in about 45 minutes. be on shortly. So HCAM, let us know when you're ready. Okay. Okay, good evening. This is Amy Rutterbush, and the Select Board has now returned from executive session, reconvening an open session. We had a posted public hearing for 6:45, so I think I'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we might, then we might skip the public comment until after the public hearing, if that makes sense.
Or open the public hearing.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And then we need a motion to open the public hearing, I think.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Oh, we have to roll call. Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Frenier, yes.
Or fund this rule, yes. Okay, so Mary Jo. Amy Rutterbush, yes. Okay. So I don't know how many people are here for public comment. So why don't we go ahead and do the public hearing first, and then we'll do public comment after the public hearing. Okay, so our first item is a public hearing for an all-alcohol license for O'Reilly Inc. at 2224 Main Street. The Select Board is holding a public hearing to consider an application for a new Section 12 all-alcohol on-premises license for O'Reilly Inc. doing business as O'Reilly Mexican Cuisine, a new restaurant located at 2224 Main Street. The Board will also consider approving an entertainment license for karaoke on Friday and Saturdays. The Board has already approved a common victualler license. Okay, so we'll start with an applicant presentation, and there's something in our packet too, so please come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I just say one thing, Madam Chair?
Sure.
The early reports are very positive. People are excited.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it for the support. Thank you so much.
My husband was in first day.
Thank you, thank you.
I heard the tacos were great.
Okay, so you're requesting an all-alcohol license and an entertainment license for karaoke, it looks like. Okay, did you have an introduction that you'd like to give, or we can move to the staff report if you'd like?
Yeah, move with it's fine.
Is that okay? Okay, and for the staff report, do you have anything else, Norman?
Through the chair, again, welcome to the town. We did circulate the application to the permitting departments. We also had extensive discussions between the applicants, the building inspector, and the fire department. At this point, staff do not have any adverse comments.
Okay. Okay, so no adverse comments. They recommend approval of both licenses, right?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to
Hold
approve.
on, we got to take the comments from the public.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are there any members of the public that would like to make a comment on the application? Okay, I don't see any hands up on Zoom either. Okay, and then are there any board member comments?
No, I don't have any issues or concerns. I'm super excited about having a margarita with my tacos, actually, to be frank. And I do wish you good luck. It is a little bit different that we have an entertainment license. I'm delighted that people are happy enough about it, but I guess I'm excited about it. I hope it goes well. I guess I don't have any concerns particularly, but it's a new idea that I'm glad that people are supportive of.
Okay, great. Mary Jo?
So through the chair, I'm in complete support of this. I think it's another facility, another service that town could use. I ate there yesterday, and it's fantastic. So I'm in complete support of this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mary Jo?
Oh, I'm excited about it and looking forward to a margarita. Something like that. And I just feel a little badly that it's right in the middle of our construction downtown, but let's hope in a number of months that will now end, I hope, this year. So,
Put that on
I
your
wish you
calendar.
good luck.
For October, end of October, it should be done.
This is great. I'm happy that you're adding the services, and this will be probably the first karaoke in town, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, and definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you. We already had takeout once. It was excellent. We enjoyed it. And we look forward to the karaoke and the margaritas.
I promise not to sing.
Okay, and so then we would vote to close the public hearing?
Second,
To close the public hearing,
I second that.
Okay, and a roll call vote?
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes?
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Stefan Schultz, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, then we would need a motion to approve a Section 12 all alcohol on-premises license for O'Reilly Inc. doing business as O'Reilly Mexican Cuisine at 2224 Main Street, and an entertainment license as requested with the condition that the indoor capacity of the restaurant at all times should be no more than 49 people, including patrons and employees.
Second.
So moved.
Okay, and then a roll call vote?
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Stefan Schultz, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
West Point anytime.
Okay.
We'll get the full package.
We'll be there, don't you fret.
Okay, so now we're going to move back to public forum. So if anyone on Zoom would like to speak at public forum, please raise your hand on Zoom. And then, so please note that each person will have up to 2 minutes to speak at public comment. Please start by stating your name and address. Is there anyone present in the room who would like to speak at public comment? No? Okay, and then is there anyone on Zoom? There is one person with their hand raised. Virado Pajari? Okay, yep, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so, hi, this is Varada Pujari. I'm from Fox Hollow neighborhood. The original developer who developed the neighborhood, he actually handed the neighborhood to the town, and then, we have some procedures followed to hand over the neighborhood to the town. So there was a planning board meeting yesterday, so there were, it was like a anonymously yes, and what are the punch list items, they were taken care. So I'd like to know the decision on like handing over the Fox Hollow neighborhood to the town.
Okay, so we'll be reviewing that later in our agenda, and we have a letter from the planning board, I believe, also.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised in person or on Zoom. Okay, so I think we're done with public comments. Okay, so next we would do a special temporary alcohol license for the Hopkins Center for the Arts. The Select Board will consider approving a special temporary alcohol license for Gianluca Curilli on behalf of the HCA. The fundraiser event is to be held on May 13th, 2023 from 6 to 10 p.m. with an anticipated 80 to 100 guests in attendance. And at 98 Hayden Row, alcohol will be served by tip-certified servers and will be supplied by the Wine Empire of Ashland. Okay, so,
So moved.
Second.
sorry.
To open the,
It's not a hearing, it doesn't, right?
Question period.
Okay. So do any board members have questions or comments?
do we have staff report on that?
Yes, the staff report, it was included in the meeting packet. Health Services Director, Hopkinton Fire Department, and Police Department did comment, and staff are recommending approval.
Okay, no adverse comments? Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay, so then we can have a motion?
Through the chair?
Yep.
Mr. Kamalo, is there a reason why we have to keep doing these temporary licenses for HCA and instead as opposed to just giving the HCA a license?
I think that's our next agenda item, Irfan, if you could
That's
hold
our
that.
next agenda.
That's it.
Okay. I'll pause.
Just pause it for that, hold that thought. Okay, so can we move to approve the special temporary alcohol license for the fundraiser on May 13th?
So moved.
So,
Okay, and then a roll call vote?
Hero Kramer, yes?
yeah, Joe Frenier, yes?
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, and next we will have a Hopkinton Center for the Arts update. The Select Board will receive an update from Kelly Grohl, Executive Director of the Hopkinton Center for the Arts. So if you want to come forward. And Kelly had written us a letter in the packet.
Hello.
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 Okay.
How are you all?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I wanted to come and talk to you about the fact that the HCA would like to move forward with an application for a full liquor license. It's been 7 years now since we were granted an agreement with the town. And the way the agreement works now is if the HCA is going to be serving alcohol at one of our art-related events, if we use a 12C licensed caterer, which has a little bit more certification than a regular licensed alcohol provider, then we are not required to go for the specialty one-day license. But if it is not a 12C licensed caterer, we do need to go in front of you for a one-day license for every event. What we have found that has happened is, first of all, the cost per year to hire these caterers is in excess of $10,000. So what it is costing the HCA. We don't make any money off of these events. That all goes to the licensed caterer. And even more challenging has been that for these caterers, if it's something like a play or an art show, they don't make enough money to come. So we're having a really challenging time finding a licensed 12C licensed caterer to take the job. In addition, this could be a nice revenue stream if we ourselves owned our own liquor license. We're able to sell alcohol at our events, which are very small, or to the rentals that come in, whether it's a life celebration or a fundraiser like the one we're having, we just came before. And so it would turn what is a deficit for HCA into an income generator. The other things that are different than when we came 7 years ago is we've hired this lovely lady, Denise Tracy, who is now our event manager. And Denise has several years' experience in the hospitality industry. She owned Jasper Hill in Holliston. Then they moved to Millis. She has worked in the music and restaurant business for many, many years and has now worked for the HCA full-time for over a year now. And so she would be the manager of record, and we would use, as all the requirements, liquor license, tip certified servers at our events. So we wanted to come and talk about it with you to see what your thoughts are. We've just started to go down that road of, looking into what it will take to apply for a license. We've had 7 years of no incidents happening in that. We have the support of Chief Bennett is here and has offered his support. We have some neighbors that have come with us and offered their support for this. It really will be a significant, we find ourselves at a significant disadvantage than other whether it's a restaurant or other organizations, the cost of this and not being able to manage this piece of the business ourselves. So that's what we're putting before you. Would love to hear what your thoughts are, any concerns are that we could address.
Thanks. So I read the letter, and I generally think this would be okay as long as you have the support of the police and the schools. But as long as, I want to be clear, and I think this is what I understand, that it would not be a bar that would be open every day at set hours.
that's what's
correct.
right.
That people could come and go. It would only be after school hours, when there would not be children walking around, but evening events or weekend events.
There wouldn't be anything different than what we're doing now.
Okay, but we could.
Event only, basically. A license for event only would be okay.
But we could write that in, like our usual full liquor licenses that we write have specific hours that they can be open, but we could write more specifics into this one. I would be more comfortable with that, like that it wouldn't be during school hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Good. I think those were, that was.
You don't have an application for us, right? This is just an update.
This is like preliminary, so if we had questions or concerns, they could potentially address them at the future meeting. I think.
Can I ask a question? I imagine in the universe of things this is possible. Is there a liquor license that is event only tailored this way?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
No. Okay, so the question that is going to come before us is a conventional liquor license. Are we, and I don't question any of what you have just said and your motives and intentions, all those things. Are we able to condition it in that such a way, or is it going to just be an open liquor license that we're thinking about for that establishment?
The board may impose conditions on a license based on findings that are made during the hearing.
Okay. So I have obviously enjoyed, little funny story, I asked my husband if he wanted to do something Friday night, and he thought I said HCA, and he quickly said, yes, that's awesome, I love that place. And then I said, it's not the HCA, and he goes, oh, you know. We have certainly enjoyed the functions there, and we have certainly experienced them as being very responsibly managed. I do think that it is, it's an interesting set of questions with the proximity to the school, with the fact that that you lease the property from the town. I guess I just, in that case, I would want our attorneys to just like really give us their best advice on how to manage that in the rightest possible way.
Sure, that makes sense. I think, as I said, the use would be exactly the same as it's been for the last 7 years. The really big shift or big change for us is having this license, and we're certainly very comfortable with hours being set of when the service can happen, is really the cost. It's the cost and the ability to manage it ourselves, the cost of being able to have it, because we were looking at a situation where we could no longer serve wine at our art shows, which seems so silly, but literally because we couldn't get a service to say it was worth their time, you know. So, and that really does affect our business. It seems silly, or plays or things, to be competitive with other art centers. It's hard to draw, particularly for the concerts, as I think you've all been to. You know that it makes a real difference when you're coming to see something like that, just to have a glass of wine. And the nature of what we do is it's a glass of wine or two. It's not, typically it's a half an hour before a show, half an hour in the middle of the show. It's, the usage lends itself to limits.
Okay. Mary Jo, did you have any questions?
No, mine were basically the same. I would love to give a permit, but I would want to make sure that there are restrictions on it, because things change hands and things happen and different people get involved. So I would like to have it written out, that's all.
Yeah. Saito, did you have any questions, comments?
Sorry. No, I don't have any particular question, but I want to thank you for all the good work that you do and the center does. We all enjoy it. We love it. I think it's becoming, or has become, the vibrant center in town, and we all always look forward to your next event. And it's a great gathering of bright minds and art and culture. So wonderful and proud to have you in our town. And I think this makes sense economically, that you said, and efficiency-wise, that you don't have to come 15 times throughout the year. And also you'll get a good option to do it at a low cost and make some margin, which would go to a charitable work that you do. That all makes sense. And I think it's always good to listen as you are doing, and appreciate that. And I think we also heard from one resident along the same line that we want to be careful that it's close to the high school. How do we manage it? And the answers you are giving makes total sense. And I think we have seen that in action. So I have no issues with that. I think we all need to just respect and keep those in mind, which I'm hearing, and I'm sure you all do, and we all do, that kids are next door, so it's after hours, and it's not an everyday thing, and it's not the main focus. It's more of additional kind of recreation added to it. So I'm okay with it, and I think it would be a good thing for your long-term, some more margin and operational efficiency within these constructs. Thank you.
Irfan, did you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you probably already understand where I'm coming from because I started early with it. I think this makes absolute sense. And the fact that, we could put conditions on it for the license to be event specific makes a lot of sense, but it just seems, it seems tedious that they have to continually come back for every event and ask for a temporary license. I think it's long past time to get a license that makes sense. Most of the events all occur after the kids are out of school anyway, and likely out of practice or games as well. So, and in my mind, it's also very independent from the school. Yes, it's very located close to the schools, but it doesn't operate with the school, so it makes a lot of sense to me to do this. So I'm very much in support.
Okay, thanks. So I think,
could just say one more thing. Did you?
I have one more thing to add. I was just going to say, when you come back to us with the application, I think a letter from the schools attached to it would be good, because you said you've already spoken to them.
Yeah, and I would love to hear more specifics about the parameters that you'd like to see, so we can try to incorporate them the first time we put this together.
Yeah. Do you have another comment?
Yeah, and then I was thinking about that question through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to say that you have been operating this way for, as you said, is it 7 years? No, I moved the thing, but for a long time, and it's been going swimmingly. People are loving the events up there. We have had great success, and it's been managed really well, so we appreciate that. And I'm also mindful of the fact that you actually, not only is it impositional to your ability to maybe have it, but you're not able to enjoy any of the potential profit. I know it's not going to be a big piece of business, but it's unfortunate to not necessarily be able to take advantage of that. Just thinking in terms of what you just said, I don't know outside of the way that you typically conduct business. For me, if you were thinking of expanding the model in any way or changing the model in any way, then maybe that would be obviously a conversation point. But if it's exactly as you've been doing it, maybe just outline it, and I'm also mindful that we don't want to make it so restrictive that we have to
Revise it every time. Yeah.
Right? But just if you give some thought to it, I'm sure that it's what the pattern and the manner that you're operating under now would certainly, I think, be very, very supportive.
Yeah, I think.
If I may.
Oh, go ahead.
I would suggest that perhaps the board hold off from giving specific advice until we receive, or the town receives, a clearly defined proposal from the LCA. It's one thing to work from our experience based on one-day temporary liquor licenses. It's a different process altogether when you're applying for your full-blown alcohol license. And it's usually helpful. It's also very constructive if the town is responding to a specific proposal.
Okay. Yeah, and I think my only other comment, my main concern is the school hours. So as long as there would not be any alcohol served during school hours, which I know is a variable schedule. There's no school in the summer or for breaks, so that gives you some flexibility too. But then, right, we'd be happy to look at your application when you put it together, I think. Okay.
Through the chair?
Yep.
I love your outdoor events. I've been to many of them. And the patio is beautiful and everything. I'd like to see a plan for enclosing the outdoor space, just so nobody goes beyond where they should be.
Do you currently serve alcohol outdoors? I can't.
In the summer.
Oh, in the
Yeah,
summer
they
you
do.
The school's out. Okay. Okay, so that could be something to think about, some kind of barrier.
That's all, just a plan, you know.
Okay, so I think we're done with that agenda item, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have appointments to boards and committees. The Select Board will consider appointing Veda Kerr and Joe Brusso to the Board of Registrars, the Republican nominees, nominees to the of the Republican Town Committee. And there are 2 terms that have expired, so we would be appointing one to a term expiring 2024 and another expiring 2025. Did the Town Committee, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to make a motion, but go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, did the Town Committee express whether they wanted which one to be the longer term? I think I would suggest, since Veda's been doing it a long time, and I think I understand from Connor has good attendance, maybe we would have her be the longer term, but...
Yeah, the reason, she's been on it before, this is like a reappointment.
Right, right.
So I'll make a motion to appoint Veda Kerr to the Board of Registrars to a term expiring February 1st, 2025, and to appoint Joe Brusso to the Board of Registrars to a term expiring February 1st, 2024.
I second that.
Okay.
Okay, and a roll call vote?
Shredder Manning, yes.
Okay.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Irfan? Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, great. And then now we're going to invite the Board of Health to come up for a discussion on PFAS, particularly relating to both public and private drinking water supply. I was traveling this week. Was there something in the packet, or do you have a PowerPoint?
No, we have a slide and we have more information,
Okay.
but just a slide that we wanted to go through.
Okay, and so does Ben have the slide? He does, okay.
Then, thanks. So, I'm Lisa Whittemore. I'm still the chair of the Board of Health for a couple more weeks. And then Dr. Jacobs is going to take over, which will be great. And Sean McAuliffe is here, and he'll answer any technical questions that people have. But what we really wanted to come today to talk about was the private well issue. The public water supply is being managed by DPW, and I know you all know a lot about what's going on there and have been very active in all of those discussions. Private water supplies are not regulated by in the same way. They're not mandated to be tested the way public water supplies are. So the Mass DEP doesn't have any authority over private water supplies, and that becomes the responsibility of local health. So it will be the responsibility of Sean and his team as the regulations come down. We, as a town, and actually most towns, have no current regulations around private wells and PFAS. Yeah. And what we intend to do is listen to the guidance that we are waiting for from the Environmental Protection Agency, the feds, and the Mass Department of Environmental Protection, and the Mass Department of Public Health, to give us the guidance that we need, that then we can create policy and regulations that are in accordance with what those regulators say. We don't think it's prudent to get out in front of those regulators. We think that it makes sense to lag a bit, not a lot, and we expect something, we think, in the next 6 to 10 weeks. As you know, right now, the PFAS concentrations are in excess of 20 parts per million.
Oh, trillion.
Trillion, sorry. And there is some thought that it's going to be decreased to 4 parts per trillion. So we're just waiting on that. And that's our recommendation as to a town as to what to do and to follow it and continually educate the residents in town about what's going on at the state, local, and federal level, and come back very quickly when they come forward with their recommendations, and then work through how we're going to manage this within the town. Any?
Oh, I was just going to note that we have our first meeting with the Mass Department of Public Health on May 9th. So we're starting that dialogue. We've been working with the DEP throughout this process because they're still waiting for guidance from the EPA. So, yeah. So
And I also will say this is not unique to Hopkinton, either the public water supply or the private well issue, nor is it unique to Massachusetts. I mean, we're moving to Maine, and it is all over Maine as well. It's everywhere. So this is something that I think that the federal government is really going to have to help us and grapple with.
So if I could make an analogy, we're expecting it'll be something like, right now there's state regulations for septic systems, then how those...
The Title V, yes.
Title V, and how that all works, and when you sell your house, what happens. So we're anticipating and hoping the state will do something, a similar process for...
I don't think it will be quite Title V-like, because I'm not sure...
But a consistent process that throughout...
But I think what we're hoping for and we're looking for is guidance from the feds and the states to put a consistent process in place, so from town to town, it is the same process rather than one town doing one thing and then you go across the border to Ashland and they have a whole other piece. The analogy that I would make is is when the Board of Health passed the plastic bag ban, we actually lagged on that for a few months because we knew the state was going to come down with that. And secondly, when Governor Baker banned flavored cigarettes, we were ready to do it. And we flipped the switch the next day, but we made a decision not to do it before the Commonwealth because we knew that residents would just go to Milford or Ashland, and we didn't want to disadvantage our businesses. So that's the analogy I would make in terms of how we would manage this.
Okay. And then I think I know the answer to this, but I'll just say it for the public too. Some of the private water supplies serve the public, like Carbonis, for example. So they do have a testing requirement.
they are a public water supply.
Because they're, okay, but not a town water supply.
So all of the public water supplies in the Commonwealth have been tested.
Okay.
To date, I believe 166 of the 1,400 have come back positive in excess of 20 parts per trillion.
And that will change when it goes down.
And then what I think what we've been discussing is that we are going to start making the links that the DEP continues to upgrade or update their website so that now there's an interactive page that you can look at. You can bring it down to a town scale and then start looking at the water supplies to assess what their what those levels are. And then the state DPH has just started requiring that all beverage suppliers in the Commonwealth submit data to them, and then if they pass the the beverage testing, then they allow them to provide retail sales in the Commonwealth. So there's a significant amount of process and regulations and policies being developed at this time. So,
and it's not just water. Remember, PFAS and PFOAs they're pretty ubiquitous. Dental floss, for example.
Yeah.
Your wax on your dental floss, PFAS.
Okay.
so
Is itself PFAS?
The waxy.
The wax?
The components that make the wax that make it glide. A lot of food packaging materials.
cosmetics.
It doesn't get into the water supply from nowhere, and it doesn't get into you, I guess.
I mean, and that's, I don't mean to minimize it in any way, but I think this is something that, honestly, as a country, we're going to have to grapple with in the next 5 to 10 years. Water will become the next climate crisis, is my prediction.
I've been attending meetings, almost monthly with the DEP, and the DEP historically had never referenced food as being a source. And they just went on record, and it's published on their site, that they're recognizing that food is a significant source. So again, as this discussion and as this research continues to evolve,
We will update it on the website. We'll make sure that, it goes out to the public, because that really is information. And as there's enough information to make a coherent policy that people can abide by, the board will consider it and then come before here to the select board as well, so that everybody is aware of it.
Okay, and the public now, while they're waiting for the new regulations, they can feel free to purchase the bottled water from the list on the state website as a precaution, especially if they're in a sensitive subgroup.
right, and that's being updated monthly now.
Okay.
So the last results, I think, were just the last week of March, so.
Yeah, I saw that because eHelp was looking to buy water bottles for town meeting, so I was checking the list. So.
Well, and
Yeah.
what they've done is, there's one of the larger bottled water companies. What they've since done from the initial list that was published is they brought on filtration equipment to start filtering their product, so that the concentrations have actually come down. And other bottled water suppliers have done the same. So we're seeing some of the larger soft drink manufacturers also brings equipment online so that they can guarantee
The filtration.
a safer or PFAS product, a free product.
Okay, so do board members have questions or comments?
No, just in general, thank you for all the work you do, and especially I'm a big fan of all the work Lisa, you, the health board, and Sean, everyone has put together during the COVID times. So thanks for continuing a lot of that for now with PFAS, which is a big crisis looming, right, for the nation, for the world. So I like the advisory and the information that you put out, and I fully understand the constraints that you are in. And I also think it's a good approach that you just explained to make sure that we are following the right steps, and even with a little bit of latency, we'll be not doing something that's too much far from where the direction is. I just want to emphasize, and I have seen that recently very well, so kudos to you all. How can we be, more, I would say, informative for the residents? And that has been very, I think, good on many fronts, especially on our wells front and the people who are on the town water. And I think I brought it up, and you rightfully have also covered it in your statements and some of the documents, which is 1/3 of our town population, if not a little more, are on the well water. And it's true that legally we are not probably equally obligated, but as a town, we are obligated to provide fresh, clean water to everyone, or at least provide, the right advisory so they can handle and know where they are with the situation and what they can do. And you've done a wonderful job in covering all the information. So just to keep that in mind, that how can we also provide them time to time within our limits, because obviously we don't know all, and we can't always step forward on certain fronts before all the regulatory bodies move forward, but provide them with some guidelines, some directions, and especially even, I don't know how or if it is within our jurisdiction to some extent or informally, how can we provide some of the guidelines? I hear from the neighbors that how can we test, should we test? If we test and find something, I see these products on Amazon, or I see these products on some of the water treatment vendors that are providing, what should we do? And again, they're not directly within our service for that, but something to think about how we can provide our best, so they feel like they are also heard and they also have some guidelines from our town. And I know it's not always absolutely easy on various fronts, but something to keep in mind. But totally appreciate what you have done. I've seen the advisories, the information, the various discussions you are having, so keep up the good work, and thank you for your service.
Through the chair, this is a little beyond this subject, but I want to thank you. You said you were leaving in about 4 weeks, and the service you have done is insurmountable. The time you spend is unbelievable. Your knowledge has been fantastic, and not just for the Board of Health, but for the town in general, and you will be missed very, very much.
Miss Wallach.
Absolutely, we all want to echo that, and I certainly am a big fan of what you have done and your dedication, your expertise. Thank you for that.
I'll come visit in Maine. We have PFAS there, too.
You'll be hugely missed, and we'll have your phone
How you're
number.
leaving us.
We'll have your phone number, and you'll be our advisor.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is an amazing town, and the people who volunteer for this town and the people who work for it are just great. And I've lived here almost 30 years, and it's a tough decision to move, but a good one for us.
doing it.
It's still wonderful.
Massachusetts lost his Maine's game.
But I also, I want to say that one of the things that we will do is continually update the website so that people have the most up-to-date information. And these aren't easy answers. It's not, should I test, should I not test? There are things to weigh, and we will try to figure out a way to get that information out clearly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did want to add, I get the notices as a town water customer, and I think the last two have been a lot better and more clear. It's a very long notice with a lot of legalese, but on the back it was a very clear bullet points of this is what we're doing, and this is when, the timeline and when things are going to happen and what you can do. And I really appreciate that as a water customer. Irfan, I don't think Irfan spoke yet.
I have not spoken yet.
Did you have any questions?
So as I hear the discussion, I understand that, our jurisdiction is limited.
That's why coming music.
Our jurisdiction is really limited to our status as public water supplier. But according to, the drinking water regulations, there's a lot of other public water suppliers, condo associations and that kind of thing. And I think it would be helpful as a town, there's going to be DEP jurisdiction for the smaller public water suppliers, but as a town, the same guidance that we can deliver to, when we get it, that we can deliver it to individuals, it would be nice if we could also have something that, covers some of the smaller public water suppliers as well.
We do that. We do that already. We test the smaller public water supplies.
Okay.
But are you suggesting, Irfan, that they mail a postcard to people on small private wells at their houses? So
Well, I mean, as we develop information, as we get guidance from EPA and DEP, I think disseminating that information would be valuable.
So maybe
there's a way to get it. So if that's through a postcard, if that's through the website, but I think making people aware of what to do on this issue would be helpful to town. And I think that would apply to the smaller water suppliers. The other thing I also wanted to add is, we do have regulations in town requiring the testing of private wells on the sale of a home. And we have potability standards there. So, I would imagine we'll be incorporating PFAS testing at some point as we get more information. Am I correct in saying that?
I don't know that we know yet.
Right.
but it might be in the state regulation
And then-
eventually.
Could be.
I would say that the regulations that we have in place were discussed, voted upon, and implemented, first off, to guarantee that as a new homeowner, you are moving into a home with a verified potable well. Secondly, those regulations were put in place to monitor, well, recognizing that there were wells in the community that could be identified as having a downgraded property status during the time of MTBE or gasoline contamination. So there was a location up on the Pike that we were monitoring. We monitor wells for along 495 and the Pike for road salt contamination. So that's how those regulations came to be, and why they were implemented, really to protect the residents from upgradient sources. This is it's a very different discussion, and again, this discussion is, is
sensitive.
It's sensitive, and if we were in a heavily industrialized area, we'd be having maybe a different conversation. But being in this setting, it's a sensitive discussion that they're still working on the policy.
Which is, I think, why it's taking so long, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to our next agenda item.
I just wanted to say, I didn't get a chance to speak, but through you, Madam Chair. This is really helpful, actually. So I don't really have questions, but I know that concern levels and anxiety has been rising, not just in my house, but in every house around. So this is really, really helpful, and I know you don't have all the answers, but we do appreciate that you're committed to getting the information out and taking action as soon as we know the right action to take.
Through the chair, one last question. I know we asked a lot of questions and you clarified very well and gave us all the information. Is there anything we can do to help you more from the town, from the select board? Feel free to give us your feedback later or now.
You remember the COVID updates that we did here?
Yeah.
I think going forward, as we learn more, maybe having periodic private well updates to this body as a way to get the information out in yet another manner could be helpful.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
IT and I have started a discussion realizing that this is a bit of a separate issue from the information that's posted on the DPW website.
Yeah.
So that we discussed today how we're going to meet very shortly to start building out the health department website, so that it's providing a lot more communication and guiding people to resources that are very specific to this topic and then other topics that we deal with. So yes, we're responding to that communication.
And definitely a lot of cross-referencing between the water department website and the health website, because people may not know which of the two places to look.
Yeah, and I think it is, health department is private wells. Water department is public water supply.
I get it, but I'm not sure that everyone.
No, but I think it's a nuance that doesn't make a lot of sense unless you really, exactly.
Right,
Anyway.
and people don't necessarily hold on to it,
So the cross-pollination makes sense, Amy. Yeah, that's good. Great.
Thank you for all the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Okay, so now we have the fire chief and Chief Bennett and town manager regarding emergency preparedness at the Hopkinton LNG facility at 52 Wilson Street. All right, we have a handout in our packet on page 33.
I was going to say, I got to find my way back. I was busy looking at the website about water.
Yeah, I looked at it too. Yeah.
Water, we'll move that around.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. So is this an upcoming drill or a drill that you just had recently?
So it's an upcoming drill.
Upcoming drill.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. Just want to give you a quick update on a drill we've been working on for the last year in conjunction with Eversource that's going to test the emergency response guide, which is still under development, and also test Hopkinton Fire as well as our mutual aid communities with the PD in a multi-jurisdictional drill beginning 8 o'clock May 4th, and hopefully ending around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, and you'll be distributing these flyers to the whole neighborhood so they're not alarmed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then, let's see. All right, does anyone have questions or comments about that? I'm really happy that you do this, first of all, because it's a big scary thing that we have in town, but we're glad that you're prepared for it.
Through the chair, if I may, members of the public and the board may be wondering about the context. How did we get here? I want to share with the board and the public that the update you are receiving tonight came about as a result of DPU 17-114, where the Hopkinton LNG facility applied for zoning exemptions. One of the requirements that came out from the decision by the DPU was the development of an emergency response plan, emergency response guide, evacuation plans, and LNG training for our public safety teams. To that, this was in terms of dating. This was back in 2018, and since then we have been working collaboratively with the Eversource teams. And in fact, by also way of introduction, we have two members of that team who are present here tonight. And I'll let them introduce themselves through the chair. But the point I want to make is that I think we all have recognized over the years that an effective response to any incident at the facility would require extensive collaboration between our fire department, Eversource, our mutual aid partners, local officials, all working together. And what you're hearing tonight is that this cooperation doesn't only occur on the day of an incident. It requires the public safety officials and the private sector entities to plan, train, exercise, and equip themselves beforehand. And as I said, this is what has been happening since 2018, and I'm sure this may have happened in different forms before then. Also, leading to the event on May 4th, there was a tabletop exercise that was
January.
In January, that was coordinated by all the stakeholders. I did attend, and I was very impressed by the significant progress that we have made in our relationship with Eversource in terms of building that technical capital, social capital to develop a very effective ERP, ERG based on real-life scenarios that we've all agreed might or could occur here in Hopkinton. And by way of introduction,
my name is Jim Blackburn. I manage the Eversource LNG engineering group. I've interacted with many of you when you were on prior boards, and I think we've developed over the years a very collaborative relationship, and I think the boards have been very fair with us. We've tried to follow through with many of the commitments that we made, and this training session is something we've been planning for the last year, but we've been talking about for probably 5, almost 6 years. And so to finally see this kind of come into fruition, I think will be a very good opportunity for us all to learn from each other and demonstrate, I think, that we're prepared for, any scenario that may come upon us. So we appreciate the town working with us and supporting us in this.
Thank you. I'm Peter Bowman from Community Relations, and I just want to reiterate what Jim said and what Norman said. It's just been a great partnership with the town, and we want to just continue that. And the chiefs to my left have been just tremendous partners and really helped, design this event. As like Norman said, he's participated in the table talk exercises with us. So we just really want to thank the public safety officials and the board and Norman for just really this strong partnership. Thank you.
If I may, through the chair, people may ask, what's this going to look like? So on-shift personnel from the police department will be assigned for that day to participate in the drill or exercise. All staff that are there will be committed for the day to work through the scenario. We'll be backloading the shift for coverage, which is we need to do that at the PD. But backing up to, we were in a room at the tabletop with 30 or 40 people. The commitment from Eversource is large. They have teams that plan these, and I've been impressed with their team since I started. So on that day, those people that help develop the plan will bring in the staff. We'll do a safety briefing. Talk about basics of one of these exercises, like don't fight the scenario, and there's basic things. And then the exercise takes place, and then there's a hot wash immediately afterwards where we'll go over immediately front of the head what went well, what didn't, what could we do better. So what the community will see is pre-staged emergency vehicles on Legacy North. So there'll be apparatus from mutual aid response teams, as well as you'll see limited access to roadways. We will close the road, but we will let residents through always, of course. You'll see simulated blocked roads and blocked areas of Wilson Street. So the reason we really want to get out ahead of it through communications is we don't want to cause alarm. It's a big event, a big day, and we're looking forward to really learning a lot about our capacity and our capability and where we need to work on it. Thank you.
Again, if I can just build off of Chief Bennett just really quick. As he stated, the drill is being built to accommodate or work off of our on-duty staffing. We as well are relying heavily on mutual aid. For this day, we have Westboro, Southboro, Ashland, and Milford coming in along with the state hazmat team to participate, and we also are backfilling our duty crews. The duty crew will be assigned that day to participate in the drill. So the drill is not built around something that's not realistic. It's built on what we would be experiencing on a daily operational period, both with police and fire, and again, relying on our community resources. Resources are going to be staged, and they're going to be dispatched as a time frame, and we've already figured out what the response times would be. So, a Milford company could be 18 to 21 minutes to get to that part of town. That's how long they're going to sit in staging before they're actually coming. So the
participant has to request it.
Correct.
If they don't, the resource doesn't come.
The resource doesn't come, exactly.
Everybody's being tested.
Yep.
Now,
yes,
we wouldn't let that not happen. Right. At some point, we would inject, have you mentioned Milford, and they'd get on the radio on a separate frequency and request it, and it would arrive. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's Me too. The largest scale drill I've done in town. It's going to be really excited about it.
Yeah, it should be good.
We really appreciate you all of the groups working together to pull this together. And obviously we know fire drills and active shooter drills really help prepare for those scenarios, and this is just as, if not more important. So we really appreciate that. And the other thought I had was, I know you're going to send the flyers out to people who live in the area, but there are people that will be driving through that won't have gotten the flyer. Will you also have little signs on the truck, this is a drill today, or something?
Yes, there'll be reader boards.
And we're going to, I'm sorry, Chief, go ahead, cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, yeah.
You're a
No, it's ours. It's ours. Yes, there will be, the people who will be blocking the roads will also have information to say this is a drill
Only a drill
only. We're
today.
going to push it out through our social media. We've worked with Josh. Josh has been part of some of our meetings, so we're going to get that out as well, too, so folks can see that.
So this is the beginning of the information and sharing. Thought it was a good place to launch.
If I may add one other thing, I just want to clear up with Jim and Peter is this is not going to be a news event. Okay, this is like, you're not going to see Channel 5 or Channel 4 or any of our local establishments. This is a closed drill for our first responders and out of the respect of Eversource and private property. So I want to just get that out very clear that this is not going to be a big news event.
Right, and I know the Eversource facility is close to the public and it's very
correct,
kept very safe and secure, restricted
And
entry.
through the chair, just to demonstrate how comprehensive it is, it actually, part of the exercise is a press conference.
Correct. Yeah, we're going to do a mock press release.
At the end, okay.
Yeah, with the public information group from Eversource as well as us, one of us, the chief planner and myself, or both of us, doing a release as part of it as well, too. So the other piece of this that we didn't mention is it's going to be filmed and used as a training tool for other pieces down the road. So again, there's multiple layers to this drill. It's not just to go in and squirt water and move a victim. There's multiple layers to this whole thing.
To the chair, I think this is great to hear all the thoughtful work you have put together and planning for this event, so thank you all. Obviously, Eversource gas plant is one of the largest that we have probably within Massachusetts, so it's always something on top of our head, and about safety is our prime, so as you all are thinking, so I'm very happy to see that we are prepping ourselves one step further through this drill and giving us, better understanding and prepare better. And the other part I really like is that the collaboration that I see on this table and beyond. It's really very important that public, private, everyone works together for the greater safety of our residents, of our communities. And so thank you to Eversource for stepping up and collaborating so closely. And thank you to our police chief, fire chief, and all the good hands, good heads. And I'm sure we'll be all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Through the chair? Yeah. I just wanted to, I know we're going to inform the public that streets are going to be closed and things like that. But I don't know if you guys saw Hot News tonight. There's a huge article about the LNG plant and how old the tanks are and how they, it just went on and on. And this is perfect to counter it, but we're going to have to somehow get the word out to the public that something's happening, this is happening, because that was not a particularly great, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't a great article, so I'm sure it's going to alarm a lot of people. We're going to hear from them, and you're going to hear from them. I don't know which.
I think we just have to be realistic. We're going to do everything in our power to get as much notice out, but there's someone that's not going to hear it, and someone's going to get upset. But we just have to filter that through, and we'll work through that. We just have to be prepared.
But this is really timely, having seen that today, so.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair. This is amazing, and I'm really, really delighted to see it. I have two really specific questions, just in terms of educating the public. What is the process and the experience, sort of on the more everyday, to ensure the public safety regarding the LNG plant? So, what does the collaboration look like on an everyday basis between the LNG plant and the departments in town that are in charge of our safety?
I can start off with that. From the fire side, we do yearly trainings with Eversource. We do walkthroughs. We've done numerous walkthroughs and visuals with the new facility as it's been being built. We've been part of it right from step one. Jim has been a very big advocate for us to be in there and be working with it. We have constant communication. There was points that Jim and I were talking weekly about what was going on and things like that. So we're constantly in contact and viewing the facility. As Norman stated, we did a very large, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 or 5 hour tabletop in January, where all parties, we didn't know what we were walking into. So that was the first step based off of the new facility that we were able to say, okay, this is what's here, this is what we've worked on for the emergency response guys, this is how it's going to work. We tested it there, so now the real test is coming this week, or next week, I'm sorry.
For the PD, we do the same things. We have annual awareness and tours of the facility with a high-level overview of the processing. And every morning, we do radio tests with them on both the fire and police frequency. So they call into the communications center and confirm that they have radio comms with us. So the effort is a matter of redundancy.
I guess if I could, if I could just quickly comment, I mean, we stay very close to Norman, the two chiefs, to make sure they know how to get us at any point in time. We know how to get them at any point in time, so we feel the relationship with Norman and the two chiefs is critical to Eversource, and we make sure that we're close, we know each other personally, we know each other professionally, so that we can, respond to any question that might arise either way. So I think that's critically important, and I think we do a good job of staying in touch.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Irfan, did you have any questions?
I had one
more?
question. Sorry, I know. So part of the article that we saw in Hot News was those safety lamps that I guess I have not been up there. I assume they're correct that they're not functional. Do you know how how is it completely a function of the transfer? Do we know of property ownership up on Legacy Farms, like? Do we know who's responsible? I know what the article said, but do we know who's responsible for keeping them in good repair?
My understanding from conversations with the building inspector is that the property owner is responsible.
And so I think that there are multiple property owners up there now. Is that true?
Multiple homeowners organizations, I believe.
Right. Do we know? Is there one that's responsible for?
It's an association. It's the.
But there's wait.
Multiple.
Okay, let's let Norman answer. Sorry.
In fact, the building inspector did provide the name of the entity.
Okay.
It is not the homeowners association.
Okay. Could you forward that to us maybe later from the
Yes.
building inspector? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure we couldn't let this meeting go by without at least asking a question that's top of mind for many residents, and we do want to get to who needs to do whatever they need to do to repair them. Thank you.
All right. Irfan, did you have questions or comments? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I'm really, really pleased to see that the town and Eversource are working together right now. This drill is fantastic. It's nice to have a partner, and very pleased with everything that I've seen and heard. So, just thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So if there's no more questions or comments, we can move on to the next agenda item.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And you'll keep us posted after, I guess, how it went.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll be one of those people going, what in the heck is going on?
I forgot that was happening today, yeah. It was the day
See you all again.
day after day 3 of town meetings.
Day
We're going to all
after
be
day
very
3
tired.
of town meeting. We'll be ready for a drill.
Okay, so now we have a continued public hearing on the street acceptance, but we also have, so we have an applicant here for the parade permit, right? Where's that on the agenda, the parade permit? Is that later? Oh, it's, I think it's on agenda at 8, okay, but we're past 8. If there's no one here for the street acceptance, would it be okay to go ahead to the parade permit? Do you think?
Please.
Yeah, I think, because it's past 8 already, so go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you all again. I'm Kathleen Dinsmore with the Hopkinton Freedom Team.
I'm Tanisha Renjith, a member of the Freedom Team.
Okay, and this is on page 116 of our packet. Okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do?
So we're planning a Pride Parade for June 11th, which is a Sunday, and the Hopkinton Freedom Team is hosting it in collaboration with Hopkinton Youth and Family Services, along with the Hopkinton Center of the Arts. So setup will be from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., and then the actual parade will take place from 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. And then we'll have like an after parade celebration from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., and after 4 p.m. will be cleanup.
Okay. And so it's going to be, let's see, I think there's a map that you included.
Okay. The parade actually is scheduled to start at 1, but that's...
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said this parade is actually scheduled to start at 1.
Parade starting at 1.
Yeah, people will gather at 12:30.
And are there road closures? Let's see.
No.
No road closures. Okay. Great, but it will be on the streets this year. It'll be the first time, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice that we're gradually going from the track to the loop road to the street. Okay.
Yes. That's amazing. I'm so delighted to hear that.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's the town support and the participants in the last 2 years who really asked us for this. And so it's going to be a short parade route so that there's lots of time for celebration and performances afterwards.
This is so wonderful. I really appreciate that and appreciate all the work that you're doing. Not only I enjoy the parade, but the message and the symbol it provides really makes us proud. So thank you for doing that. And I do have my caps or hats from the last one and the flags. So I'll show up.
Please
Thank
bring
you.
them. Yes.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Those are kind words.
Okay.
No, I'm going to have to up my rainbow wardrobe.
Oh, yes, we'll have to plan that.
Through you, Madam Chair, if I could. I just wanted to say that it's so important, right? I know we love it and we come together, but it's so important, and it's so important in the times that we live that we expressly state our welcome and our acceptance and our acknowledgement that we're a better community when we are accepting of everybody in our community and everybody who comes from other communities, right? So it's just, I know it's a lot of work, but I just so appreciate that the volunteers put this on, and I so appreciate the participation that we've seen from town departments and from town's people, and the folks that come out and celebrate and show. And it matters every time that we show up and say that we are an accepting community of all comers. All folks.
Yeah, thank you. And I don't know if this point in the police and fire safety application was mentioned, but we're really trying to invite surrounding communities as well to participate so that we are really making this more of a regional activity for the suburbs. So we're really trying to spread the inclusion as well.
Spread the inclusion.
Yeah.
I love that.
Wonderful.
That's great. And it looks like all the staff comments were positive. Everything's been resolved. So if anyone, we could have a motion unless anyone else has any.
I would be delighted to make that motion.
Second that very happily.
I'm just going to move the parade. Oh, here it is. I'll move the parade permit scheduled to be held on June 11th, 2023 from 1 to 4 p.m. There are no road closures, and the parade will start and end at the Hopkins Center for the Arts.
I second that.
Okay. Roll call vote, sorry.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll jump backwards in the agenda to the street acceptances. The select board will hold a continued public hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 82, Section 21, to discuss accepting and laying out of Fox Hollow Road and Box Mill Road as public ways. The planning board and select board have submitted the articles into the 2023 annual town meeting to accept the streets as public ways. The planning board recommends acceptance of Box Mill Road, and the DPW confirms that the remaining work is completed. Okay, and then at yesterday's planning board meeting, the board voted to recommend acceptance of Fox Hollow Road at the first public. In our first public hearing, it was noted that there were several outstanding items to be completed, but the planning board's report from today to the select board indicates that these deficiencies have been addressed and the homeowners have provided photographic evidence. The planning board's inspecting engineer will perform a final inspection to confirm, and the planning board will retain the $5,000 bond pending confirmation that all work is completed. Let's see, the items in question are outside of the right-of-way and are related to drainage infrastructure. And in the in today's email, the DPW has noted there's still work to be completed. So the proposed motion is to recommend, let's see. So are we recommending tonight, then we would probably recommend approval of Fox Mill. Would we hold off and recommend approval on the Fox Hollow till next week? Okay, hold on. Went out today. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay. Okay.
The revised is this one?
Okay.
Yeah, we got the letter recommended, the planning board recommends approval.
Both now. Okay. I would like to ask if we could vote on the two separately, if you don't mind, since I happen to live near one of them.
Can we also ask a super picayune question through you? The letter is dated 2019 for Box Mill Road, and I feel like they should update their letter.
Oh.
That's a very good catch. I mean, it's clearly...
Yeah, it has...
But for Box Mill.
It has 25. Oh.
Oh, should it be though? I mean, did they just... Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
But I just thought because it's a street, I don't know, a process, that it should be updated.
Good point, yeah. We don't know.
I don't know if it matters, but you know.
So maybe for the record, Gary could initial the change or something, or re-sign it.
Yeah, I don't think he was the chair in 2000.
Okay, so would someone like to make the motion one at a time for the, or is that, sorry.
Recommend the annual town meeting vote to accept Fox Hollow Road and Buffalo Road as for a public way to authorize the select board to acquire by gift purchase or to make any land or interest in land necessary for such laying out.
I second that.
Okay, and then a roll call vote?
If I may, I don't believe the board closed the public hearing.
Oh, okay.
I'll move to close the public
So
hearing.
you'll hold your motion. Okay, a roll call vote.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Finney, yes.
Shahidul Manani, yes.
Amy Ritterbush, yes. Okay, now we'll go back to Irfan's motion. Seconded by Muriel, and a roll call vote.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Finney, yes.
Shahidul Manani, yes.
Yes.
And Amy Ritterbush abstain. We're having a water issue on our street that may or may not be caused by one of these two, so until I know, I don't feel comfortable. Okay, and then next we are on to the budget update and annual town meeting. Okay, so comprehensive budget update. Has anything changed since last time?
The only update is that the Appropriations Committee did hold the public hearing, concluded it successfully, has issued its report for town meeting and for the public to review, and there are no further updates.
Okay, and I saw that it was posted on the website already, and it looks great, and I think that is such a valuable resource. I refer to it from year to year when people ask questions about how much debt we have or whatever. I can just go look at that report every year. Okay, so that is the budget. Okay, then we have to consider draft motions. We have a list. Let's see. We have to make a recommendation on.
Do we need to do the one by one, or can we do them as a group now?
It's usually, because we have to do a roll call vote, it would be slower.
Maybe we can go over the list and see if there is anything that stands out for someone or us. Otherwise, I'm okay with doing one.
So the financial ones are Article 5, the operating budget, Article 6, revolving funds, let's see, Article 7. what's it, cable, Article 8, Chapter 90, highway funds, number 9, OPEB, number 10, general stabilization fund, 11, transfer to special education reserve fund. Could we do all those together? I know the Keefe Tech we have a presentation about, so I'd like to discuss that one separately.
Which one you'd like to discuss, sorry?
5 to 11.
Or sorry, 12 is the one that is discussed separately.
The Keefe Tech?
So,
Because there's a presentation about it in our packet. Are people, does anyone else want to pull anything else out of those, the ones on that side of the paper?
That makes sense to me.
Okay,
If I may,
Yep. Oh, Norman has a suggestion? Yep.
one other way to do this is that there be a standing motion to approve or recommend the motions as listed in the motions document dated today. Yes. Yeah, that is a standing motion, and we go through the list. When you
Pull them out, one at a
yes,
time.
when you call one, the board can then do the roll call vote for that number. For example, you get to number 5, roll call vote. There's already a standing motion, so you save time when you don't have to read the actual motion.
Okay, so would someone like to make a standing motion to approve the motions as written in the motions document dated today, and then we can pull out for exceptions any that we want to discuss further.
Second.
I move the motion to, I make the standing motion to move the motions as written in our warrants list document, warrant articles and motions document.
Okay, and then we need a roll call vote on that, or wait till the end?
The second. There needs to be a
I
second.
think Mary Jo seconded.
I seconded.
Yep.
And then roll call vote.
Okay, then roll call vote.
Individual.
Standing motion.
For the standing motion, Muriel Kramer says yes.
Okay.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, so then,
After that, you go to the specific articles. So which one do you want to go to next?
well, should I say all the ones that we're going, that we don't?
We just call it one by one. For the sake of the public, I think we need to call out, yes, Article 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Article, we already did one, so Article 5, fiscal year FY24 operating budget.
And then we vote again?
Roll call vote.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, Article 6, FY24 revolving fund spending limit.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, Article 7, PEG access and cable-related fund revolving account funding.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Article 8, Chapter 90 highway funds.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Article 9, transfer to other post-employment benefits liability trust fund.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Transfer to the general stabilization fund.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Transfer to the school special education reserve fund, Article 11.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahid Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, and then Article 12 is establish a capital stabilization account for the South Middlesex Regional Vocational Technical School District. So I wanted us to, explain it a little bit to the public and look through the presentation that was in our packet. Get a slideshow. Do we have a representative from Keefe Tech?
We have a copy here.
I believe John, the superintendent, and they're here for Keefe Tech.
No, this is for the AEPI Marathon Run, the parade company.
Which one?
It's the other parade from the consent agenda.
Oh, later on the agenda. Oh, okay. The parade permit. Okay, got it.
But I can go online, but then...
Okay. All right. We'll come to you soon. Then. Okay. So we don't have a rep from Keefe, or maybe on the Zoom. there's a John Evans, is that who we're looking for?
John Evans.
Okay, so we could liven up John Evans. And who else did you say? Oh, Ruth Knowles is on the Keefe Tech School Committee, I think?
Yep.
Okay, so Ruth. Okay. Oh, it says John Evans. Okay. And is there anyone else we're expecting that we should liven up on the microphone?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ruth. Yeah, okay. Okay, so do you want to give us an introduction to the reason for the Keefe Tech stabilization account funding? I know there was information in our packet.
Sure. I'm actually Dolly Schracker, Director of Finance and Business Operations for Keefe Tech.
Oh, okay.
John was actually called away. We're in Natick, so he's at the Natick town meeting at the moment.
Oh, dear. Okay.
So if you could give me access under my name that I've logged in, so I could do the PowerPoint, and then we'll turn off John's.
Okay, Ben, can you ask us to liven up Dolly Sharp?
Yes.
Okay, and can you also liven up Ruth Knowles? She's our school committee rep, I think, for Keefe Tech. Yeah. Okay, and then, oh, you're on two mics, so probably mute one of the two.
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so you can go ahead and share your screen, I think.
Audio issue. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So thank you again for allowing us to present on the capital stabilization request. If I could just share the screen for our presentation, that would be great.
Okay, great.
Okay. So to provide you with a that didn't work. Okay, so to provide you with a background for the capitalization stabilization account, we just really wanted to show you the rationale for that. We'll be able to have funding available for any unanticipated facility needs as we await for a larger building project, possibly with the MSBA. Any balance that would be used for, would be applied to any unreimbursed expenditures in a future building project. So our approval process, we had a vote on the regional school committee, our school committee, in January. Then we had approval from our majority of our member communities through the annual town meeting. I think I have John back with us. I can pause here if you'd like, if you want to. Okay. Sorry for that. So we received our approval through the annual town meeting and through the vote of the Framingham City Council. So if established, the contributions would be made as part of our budget in any year.
Okay.
So to take you just through our building status, the building is approximately 50 years old. A new roof was installed in 2014. And in FY23, we completed funding for a long-term energy lease that provided upgrades to the fire detection system, electrical fixtures, and our HVAC system. That's part of our Siemens project that was budgeted annually. In FY22, we submitted a statement of interest from the Mass School Building Authority, MSBA, and we were not accepted in our first attempt. This is a normal process. This is not something that we were really surprised about. Specific concerns as we await approval for the major renovation would be the age of our original boilers, our electrical system, plumbing infrastructure, and other miscellaneous items that could potentially come up while we wait for a new MSBA project. An advantage of the capitalization account would be any unused balances could roll forward at the end of the fiscal year. Funds could be used for building needs with a 2/3 vote of the school committee, and funds may only be deposited as part of an operating budget through approved member convenience. So part of in FY15, we had just for an example of what this would look like for Hopkinton's portion. The total cost of our roof project was over $4 million. MSBA funded it at 69.9%, which they applied $2,800,000 towards that project. Hopkinton's portion of that assessment was $37,754. So in a scenario adding to our budget for this year, if we were to add $200,000 to our FY24 budget as a line item in the regular school budget, the percentage, our current percentage of enrollment is 2.9 for Hopkinton. The current assessment for FY24's budget is an assessment of $559,924 under our normal budget. If we were to add $200,000, the funding request would increase to $565,664. So adding $200,000 to our budget would only increase Hopkinton's by $5,735.
It's a bargain.
Okay, and then, so our vote at this town meeting would just be to create the stabilization account, is that right, or will we be starting to fund it too?
No, it's simply the creation, no appropriation.
Zero amount funded.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so we're looking at the 20.
Then next year we'll see.
So this is just a scenario. I see.
Correct, this is just a scenario. We'd be looking at a line item amount in our FY25 budget.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for that explanation on the slides. That's very helpful. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
The only question I had through you, Madam Chair, so you mentioned that the building is 50 years old. Have you reapplied to the MSBA?
I can't answer that question. My name is John Evans, and I'm terribly sorry for my absence at the beginning of this presentation. I think Dolly explained that I was just down in Hall at the Navy Town meeting. So I'm glad to be back with you and appreciate the opportunity. In terms of our general plan for the building, if we do see a need for a major renovation at some point, and we're beginning the long journey with the statement of interest to the MSBA, we, at our last school committee meeting, submitted a second statement of interest, and it is our intent to continue doing that until accepted into the program. But realizing, as I'm sure Hopkinton knows, that it is a long process once it begins, we just want to have the ability to be able to pivot and address needs within the building without having to go back to 5-member communities. So that is really our attempt for the long term. And in the short term, we want to be able to respond. If we continue to have things go well and don't need those funds, it would be our intent to take any accumulated funds that develops over the years in that account and apply it to a feasibility study or some other non-refunded aspect of the MSBA project we hope to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have questions or comments? Are we ready to make a motion on this one?
Just a quick question through the chair.
Yep.
You have a list of potential work in the pipeline with the, I think I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, it was on the
Original boilers, electrical system, plumbing, etc.
Those, to be clear, those are areas that we're concerned about because if there was a major issue that we would have to address, it would be beyond what we have available in a typical budget year. Those are some of the things that are on our mind as a potential place where we need to intervene as we await a building project. We want to be very clear that we have no intent to start accumulating funds and do building projects prior to the MSBA project we hope to get into. So we really want to take advantage of that high reimbursement rate and have that be advantageous for our member communities. This is really responsive funds for the needs of our citizens.
Okay, so if you would replace the boiler with the new building, except if it really was in dire state, you might have to replace it sooner. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Ready for a motion?
I'm ready for motion.
Okay.
Second.
We don't actually have to, we have the standing motion, right? So we just have to vote.
Okay, so we'd
You're
like to
okay, yes.
vote to approve
Mary Jo
Article
Lafreniere,
12.
yes.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Okay, Article 12, establish capital stabilization account for the South Middlesex Regional Vocational Technical High School District.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Rodabush, yes. Okay, and thank you. We really appreciate you coming tonight. That was very helpful. Okay, next is the pilot agreement for the Wilson Street Solar Farm. I think there was something in our packet about this. Okay. So there's a draft from March 3rd in our packet, or is there a newer one on the table? Okay.
Are there any big changes?
No, it's the items that the solar company had.
Okay, you were in yellow before.
I got you, okay, yep.
Okay, and staff and town council and everyone recommends approval?
All parties are in full agreement, and the complete draft is available for public reviewing before town meeting.
Okay. Okay, so unless there are any other questions, we can go ahead and vote on Article 13, pilot agreement, Wilson Street Solar Farm.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Amy Rodabush, yes. Okay, so finish the first page. Okay, the next one, the CPC funds is Article 23. Let's see, do we have an update on that, or just that the appropriations recommended approval?
We also included the CPC balances in the meeting packet.
In the packet? Yes. Okay, oh, I did see that earlier, yep, okay. Okay, so that is page 94, no, that's... Okay, that is page 97. Okay, we have all the balances and the proposed funding and the ending balance after town meeting if they pass. Okay. Are we ready to vote on Article 23, capital preservation funds, or are there any questions?
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
yes.
Amy Rodabush, yes. Okay, and then community preservation recommendations. Those are not in our packet, but they would be in the motions document, correct?
Correct.
So that's Article 24.
24?
Yep.
Yeah, 24.
Okay. And have these all been recommended by appropriations and capital improvements?
The CPC recommends approval.
An appropriation? Oh, what's that? Not yet. Not yet, okay.
So the motions are actually starting on page 23, is that right?
Yes. And then capital improvements, not yet either. Okay. So should we vote on this tonight then, or should we wait until those two committees make their recommendation?
Either way.
Either way?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have any problem with any of
Early
them.
town meeting night, is that what we're saying?
Again, the suggestion here is this CPC has recommended approval. Only CPC can make a motion on CPC expenditures at town meeting. So going with basically the board's decision on the CPC recommendation would be fine.
Okay.
Even without appropriations committee and CIC.
Okay. Okay, so I don't have any problem with any of these. So Article 24.
I'm sorry, so some of them have dropped out because they're not being forwarded? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, see, is it here?
Yeah, or item O, this has no dollar amounts, so. Oh, the land purchases.
I like it.
What's that?
The cricket pitch.
Yep.
B and C are not there.
Okay, so can we vote the whole of them all at once, I would think?
Can we vote them all, even though at the town meeting there'll be two motions, one for land, one is for non-purchase land purchase articles, the other is for land purchase articles?
I think we have two.
And then no action item, items
Yeah.
C, F, and G.
So can we do, I guess I was going to say, maybe 24 motion number 1 would be A, D, E, H, those?
Yeah, A, D, E, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
Yeah, B, C, F, and G are not in there.
Okay. Okay, so roll call vote on those?
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lefreniere, yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat which items we are
Okay, so-
not taking?
So these are the ones we are taking is motion 1, now it's on page 23, so it's A, D, E, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
There's no B, C, F, or G.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
out.
they're not there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
They're
there.
on here, but they're not.
Okay,
Those are in motion 2.
those will be.
Right, that's why I was,
Coming up.
Yeah.
So first we'll do motion 1 and then we'll do.
right, yeah. That's why I was thinking, what are we eliminating? Everything is there.
Yeah. Okay, so we need a vote, roll call vote?
I voted.
Scheidelmann, yes.
Mary Jo Lefreniere,
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, and then motion 2 is the land purchase articles. B and O doesn't have a dollar amount. So should we save that one then?
On, so which one?
O?
Yeah, we don't have a number yet for that.
Okay, so we're not going to vote O tonight. So we will vote motion to item B only then.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lefreniere, yes.
Scheidelmann, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, and then motion 3, do we need to vote on the no action? I don't. Motion 3 is no action on items C, F, and G.
That's the general property. Yeah.
So are we
That was
moving
me.
motion 3?
I don't know, is it necessary that we recommend approval of a no action?
And no action. They're recommending no action on those.
Okay.
No action.
Okay, so we will vote to recommend no action on items C, F, and G.
Okay.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lefreniere, yes.
Scheidelmann, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. Okay, next is the street acceptance. Number 35, street acceptance of Fox Hollow Road, which we just voted tonight.
If I may,
Yep.
sorry for this, article number 4. The town set the salary for an elected official.
Yeah.
When the board voted, we were looking at $79,519.45. We have revised that number to $81,791.44.
Okay.
And this is based on the market basket survey.
Okay. Okay, so would we revote our recommendation for number 4, set the salary for the of elected officials, town clerk, to $81,000?
So it's still in here, something different. What is it?
$81,791.44.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Roll call vote?
Muriel Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lefreniere, yes.
Scheidelmann, yes.
Okay. Okay, then, did our previous vote count for 35 and 36, or we should revote them here as recommended?
What, sorry?
The street acceptances that we just did.
Fox Hollow and Box Mill.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So we don't need to revote them right now. Okay.
Yes, we did vote.
Okay. All right, so the Fruit Street lease is the next one. This is 39.
39.
there's no recommendation from anyone else yet.
39, we have an update. I don't know, Elaine, if we have heard from the proponent. And the update is review by town council.
Okay.
Has concluded that action by town meeting may not be necessary.
Okay.
There is already a previous vote by town meeting that did not limit the list to 5 acres. So if the board is inclined to support greater than 5 acres, that could be done through a select board vote without going to town meeting. However, if the board wants to measure where town meeting stands, you may still go forward. But however, I think as staff were recommending that if the applicant, if the proponent, if the petitioners are okay with taking no action, that this action be taken by the board.
Okay.
The proponents are aware of town council's view and considering whether to propose no action or to go ahead.
Okay. So should we wait on that then till next week, until they have a chance to think about it? Okay. And
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if this is already allowed under a previous town meeting vote,
can we just vote for it tonight?
Is there some reason why it isn't happening for the Scouts?
I think the reason is pure logistically, in the sense that we're just learning now, and because of the deadlines to submit petitions and so forth, the applicant went forward and submitted the application. However, we just learned today or yesterday from town council that the previous vote taken at town meeting will suffice.
Okay. But then do we need to take an additional action as a select board, not at town meeting? It's all set.
I guess I want to make sure that the Scouts get this property.
Yes, I support the Scouts.
I think that's what we're feeling.
So it's already authorized, the lease is authorized.
Yes.
There's an RFP that's been issued and proposals are due May 3rd.
Okay.
After the town meeting.
The timing is...
Okay, and so it wouldn't even take an independent select board action to authorize it. It's already allowed per town's council.
We will bring the results of the RFP process to the board.
Okay, so I'm thinking we should wait on this till next week and let the Scout organization reply to us?
I guess so.
Okay, but I generally support the purpose, yes.
Support the Scouts in this way.
Okay.
Now, when we have the RFP on May 3rd and it comes back to us for vote, do we have to put it on the special town meeting?
No. No town meeting is needed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that was all of ours that we had to vote on tonight.
Can I ask a question about articles?
Yep.
In particular, the citizens' petitions. Will the town council weigh in with some determination about the articles, whether they're legally sustainable or not?
Because the residents will ask those questions at town meeting.
Yes, my understanding is that so far town council has weighed in on 4 out of the 5. The outstanding one is the one relating to gun ranges.
Okay, and so where are the results of their review for the first 4?
First 4, we are ready to share those with the board.
And we'll have a posted packet for next Monday anyway, so we can put them in that too.
We can update the board now.
Oh, you can update now. I just want the public to see them.
And then we will post whatever we have online.
Great. Okay, great. Oh, you can put it on, because you have the town meeting webpage.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can put that there. And I got the postcard in the mail
I did
yesterday.
too.
Which is good. With a short URL to type in.
Actually, my daughter got one too. I waved it right under her nose.
A credit goes to our IT department as well as working alongside the town clerk's office who generated the addresses.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
And actually, while you're looking for those, it's a good time to plug town meeting attendance. We need everybody to come and stay and help us get the business done efficiently.
I see the town moderator has her hand raised. Could we liven up Ellen Rutter? Okay, so you will send to us the town council's recommendations.
He's going to update us.
Okay. And then they'll be posted for the public.
Elaine, do you have the document up? What's the name? The title is?
Town council comments and legal opinions.
Okay, town council.
Okay.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, okay, I just want to make sure I'm talking in the right order. Thank you. Yeah, so we did meet last week, and it sounds like Norm has got things since then, but town council knows, there's at least one of the citizen petitions that we're probably gonna need to respond to over time, and they'll be there to do that with us.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so Norman's looking for that document. We have one more parade permit. Should we jump ahead?
let's
Okay,
do
so
parade
let's
permit
pause
while you're looking for
look that up. Would you like to come forward for the parade permit? Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much for your patience.
Thank you.
Okay, the select board will review the parade permit application for the New England Chinese American Alliance. The event is scheduled to be held on May 20th, 2023 with a rain date of May 21st. There are no road closures. The parade will take place along the Boston Marathon course starting in Hopkinton at around 7:30 a.m. and ending at the Boston Common. And then
7:30.
I know, that's early.
We'll have to get up early to do our parade, Julie.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm just looking if there were any staff comments. I think they were all resolved. Yeah, it looks like staff has already been working with you and all the comments have been resolved. Okay, did anyone have any questions or comments?
I'm just, I don't have any questions, but I'm delighted to see this. Are you walking the entire, I should know this, are you walking the entire marathon route?
No, we are doing a relay. So roughly each section, like from Hopkinton to Framingham, like 20 runners. Another group from, just all the way there. So about 3 hours, 3-4 hours finish. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for your support. This is the third year we've been doing this. I know the last 2 years we get approval, so within a couple of days. Thanks a lot of your support, including the police department, the fire department, also the veteran committee. We get a lot of support from you guys. So thanks, to help us to make this happen. So.
Okay.
This is wonderful.
Sounds great.
This is May is the month for Asian American Pacific Islander month. So this is the month we try to celebrate our heritage. So
that's wonderful.
That's great.
You did the similar celebration last year too, right?
Yeah. This is our third year doing this. So we're getting more and more people. First year probably maybe 200 to 300. Last year maybe 500. This year we expecting more people in Boston, but here roughly 100 to 200 people in the most. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have to set our alarms early to come cheer you on.
Thank you.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I will move the parade to accept the parade or grant the parade permit for the Chinese American Alliance.
I second that.
And a roll call vote?
Earl Kramer, yes.
Joe Ferner, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Amy Rodobush, yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for your support.
Okay, is that everything on the consent agenda?
Just the
the minutes of April 4th.
Yes, it is. Great. Through the chair, I'll start with Articles 47 and 48. The questions that we posed were as follows. Can town meeting dictate what the CPC does with funding through articles that are not part of CP's own article with recommendations? That is, would a vote not to expend public funds on Segment 7 prohibit CPC from recommending and town meeting voting favorably on a funding request for Segment 7 in the future?
Those are questions that Upper Charles Trail Committee asked.
Yes.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. The answer to that question is that town meeting does not have authority over the recommendations that the CPC brings to town meeting. Town meeting has authority over appropriations and spending, so it can pass a vote denying or rescinding a previous approval of public funds to a certain project.
Okay, so and these were previously approved with CPC funds, the Segment 7?
Yes.
Okay, so town meeting could vote to rescind.
Correct.
Okay.
If the other article passed, right?
Yes, there's a clarifier.
Okay.
Such a vote, however, would not be a forever rule. If a future CPC recommended appropriating funds to the project and a future town meeting voted in favor of that appropriation, that would be permissible.
Okay, well, that makes sense. People, they can come back with a different proposal or something.
Yeah. So town meeting does not have authority to bind future town meetings' decisions about appropriations.
Okay. That makes sense. But so they could vote to rescind previous funds allocated that were not spent yet. Yeah.
Does Hopkinton's town meeting have the ability to abolish and establish boards and committees that are not established by statute, bylaw, or charter? The citizens' petition article in question is to vote to direct the town manager to abolish the Upper Charles Trail Committee. Town meeting does not have authority to direct the town manager's actions in this regard. At best, such a vote would be advisory only. Charter Section 6-1B1 vests authority in the town manager to consolidate, create, merge, divide, or abolish in whole or in part any town department, board or committee, or office over which the town manager has control as part of an administrative order. That section of the charter gives town meeting no authority over such orders, which is subject to review by the select board. Thus, not only does town meeting lack authority to direct the town manager to issue such an order, but town meeting also lacks authority to review it. The next question was, does the Trail Coordination and Management Committee have the authority to establish and appoint subcommittees? To the extent the town manager has created committees or other entities pursuant to the town manager's authority under Section 6-1 of the Charter, it remains the town manager's authority through the issuance of administrative orders to create, abolish, or otherwise modify those committees or entities and their respective authorities. The other question, Elaine, had to do with the observation that as written, the article does not provide a bylaw for creating the entity that the Trails Coordination and Management Committee is proposing. In other words, based on the charter, the only way the the Trails Coordination and Management Committee could create a committee is through a bylaw. They have not proposed a bylaw to do that.
Okay, they can't create a lot of committees can create subcommittees, but
This is subcommittees of an appointed committee. This is, what they're asking about is creating and appointing new members to the committee, right?
Yes.
okay. Okay. So you'll give that feedback to the both the Upper Trash Job Committee and the TCMC, or the petitioner, I mean. So.
Yes, we'll do so.
Okay.
We've already commented about on Article 39. Again, the specific language is that as Town Council reads the 2017 ATM article, there was nothing restricting the select board to list only 5 acres. So if the board wishes to amend the RFP to expand the area leased to the rest of the parcel 8, that has not been dedicated to the animal shelter, that's fine.
Okay. That's 39.
There were no comments regarding the rezoning of the church parcel.
Okay.
And West May.
Okay. And let's see, this one, 2, 3.
And we haven't asked about the...
And he doesn't, the shooting range one, they've not reviewed yet.
We've asked, however, Town Council is continuing to review how best to respond. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so as soon as you get that from Town Council, I think that would be good to go ahead and we'll send it to the petitioner and post it online.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. Let's see. So we did state acceptance, did the budget. Anything else related to town meeting that we need to know about?
Then I just want to make sure that all the required recommendations are in place now.
And I will note for the public that you do have a nice form now on the website for requesting ADA accommodations. If anyone needs them for town meeting, they can fill that out. It is already being held in an accessible place, and there will already be listing devices, the town clerk told me. So, but if someone needs a different type of accommodation. Okay. Oh, great.
A live captioner. And so that will be available either by iPads for people or on screen.
Oh, that's excellent. So
faster than the HCAM.
That's great.
So if I would love to try that myself. I have to have captions on the television whenever I do it. So I would love to test that unless there was high demand, not enough iPods. I know we had a student at school who needed that, and we provided that as an accommodation, and it was really made a huge difference for the student. Okay, let's see. Anything else related to town meeting? Oh, you said we made the required motions, right? We've made all our required motions.
Oh, except for the
okay, that we're going to wait. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so then I think we need, are there any other town meeting questions?
No, I appreciate that.
Okay. And then the select board will consider approving the minutes of the April 4th meeting?
Do we move the motion?
What's it?
So moved, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll move the minutes.
Second, roll call vote.
Earl Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Scheiderman, yes.
yes.
Amy Rodobush, yes. Okay, we did the 2 parade permits. And then town manager report. Let's see. Let's see. So Main Street corridor, the usual attachments about that. There was a little bit of PFAS update.
Yeah, in fact, on the town manager's report.
We're still.
Don't trip. Yep.
Okay.
Main Street corridor update.
Yep.
There is an additional update beyond what was included in your packet.
Okay.
We had mentioned that a meeting with public safety to discuss the work schedule was to take place. That meeting with public safety took place on Monday. Chief Bennett approved this 7 a.m. detour start time for the 3 weeks of full-depth excavation, provided that Amarillo work until at least 5 p.m. Saturday work was agreed upon to speed up the project. The start time for Saturdays will be 7 a.m. The chief's goal is to speed up this portion of the project. The start date for this work has not yet been finalized, but is targeted for early mid-May. Again, this is the full-depth excavation starting from right after the intersection to the common.
Okay. And you've coordinated with the school department for busing, that the school's still in session in May, but they're aware for busing and they made...
That's part of the routine, but we have to check just to confirm that has happened. Yeah.
That would be great. Okay. And then PFAS?
Yeah, PFAS. Again, we had a great deal of information early this evening coming from our colleagues in the Health Services Department. We are continuing to broadcast that the information on private wells is available at the DEP website. We are also investigating soil testing methodologies as well as any laboratories that can perform the PFAS detection. What we are hearing so far in terms of soil testing is that the process would, if it was to okay, would be broken down into 2 components. The first component is a paper review, simply reviewing any documents that the town may have or other entities that have owned the parcel might have. And then the second piece will be identifying some test holes. However, what we are discussing regarding that option is whether doing some testing at a specific location eliminates other locations on the site. We have asked our engineers to explore what that might mean so that when we bring it to the public, we're able to explain it. Okay, and then in our discussions with Southborough regarding the MWRA connection, I provided what we have discussed as the items that will become the fact basis for the intermunicipal agreement, including that Hopkinton will be a direct MWRA customer. That question had been asked before, it's been clarified. We will be a direct customer to the MWRA. They will provide, meaning MWRA will provide the specific meter type at the location where we connect to the system, and they will also be responsible for providing us with the readings from that meter. They will then send a bill to Hopkinton. The bill is not going to come from Southborough.
That sounds similar.
Yeah. Yeah. Southborough's responsibility will be to deliver the actual water. They also were looking into how to capture their obligation to provide peak supply capacity whether we need it or not. As we know, water demand fluctuates. That's why they need to guarantee the capacity that will be identified in the IMA. We also began discussions regarding the charges by Southborough to Hopkinton for short-term and long-term costs. Short-term including electricity, long-term including tank and pipe maintenance costs. Future capital allocations will be based on our share of the pumping electricity, amortization of the pump replacements, pump inefficiency factor, the extra cost of using larger pumps, and then the cost of extra lost water due to Hopkinton's usage. This is going to be an interesting point of discussion, namely the unaccounted for water currently exists in the Southborough system. We want to make sure that whatever we get charged is appropriately identified. We haven't specified how that will be done, but it's an area of interest for us. And then obviously there will be the system maintenance and management costs.
Okay. So it sounds like you're making good progress on that.
Yes, and again, that is what is going to define the specifics of the project in the intermunicipal agreement. We're also reviewing Power Corporation's scope of work so that they can begin the design process for the project.
Okay. Does anyone have questions on the town manager's report?
Well, the only thing I wanted to ask is if, well, actually, I see that the email went to everybody, so I assume that we had a bus stop issue this morning. I assume folks are following up on that for the Main Street Corridor project.
Michelle and Dave are working on it.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
And we want to thank the resident who brought that to our attention.
Okay, next we had volunteer recognition, which is a carryover from last meeting. I'm not sure if do we want to try to set a date, or do we have any more information?
No, and I took an action item, and I don't remember what it was. I'm a terrible human.
Like an ice cream truck or some other draw.
Good Lord, okay. So we're going to have to postpone it, but it is going on my calendar right this second. I'm calling tomorrow. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no problem. And then I do also think a certificate or a card for people to, because not everyone's going to be able to come, but if we could mail that to something, that would be an inexpensive thing to show appreciation. Okay, and let's see. All right, so anything else on volunteer recognition, or we're good for now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any board member liaison reports? Yep.
Through the chair. So I had a conversation with the chair of the Upper Charles Trails Committee, and she's actually working with legislative leaders to get Hopkinton and Ashland on the master plan for the East Coast Greenway. And with the idea being, like, if we can get on the master plan, even though the trail won't come through Hopkinton, we could have areas where there could be signage this way towards Hopkinton, to the Upper Charles Trail, and with an idea of attracting business and attracting people from the East Coast Greenway to Hopkinton.
I was going to say, I read about that in the paper. That I'd not heard of it, but that sounds like a really good idea. People could take a detour to see our, eventually Marathon Museum and the Cultural Center.
Exactly. I mean, there's going to be things to see here. That's what we're working on. And the idea is we can get people to turn right. They can enjoy our trails and our town facilities.
Awesome.
Great. Any other liaison reports? Yep.
Through the chair, I joined the library trustee meeting yesterday.
Okay.
And they really have a lot going on, a lot of wonderful events, and also have hired one new assistant library professional and two more in the pipeline, and they'll be coming to us, I think, on May 9th.
Okay.
And I also was heartened to see they have taken a strong position on censorship with a nice statement, well articulated.
Oh, great.
And also updated their policies on hotspot, mobile hotspot, circulation policy, meeting room policy, and a few other stuff. So a lot of good discussion and very active community.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay. Any other liaison reports?
What's that?
A busy week. I didn't do anything this week. I've been traveling. Yeah. Okay. No other liaison reports. Then future agenda items that were not already on our list. I feel like there's some of mine that can be removed. I was just going to say, number 18, the Boston Marathon Ashland recognition, we can remove that because we already discussed that.
Yeah, I had a liaison report about the marathon committee meeting, but
go ahead.
The race is coming on, so it's kind of moot point right now, you know.
But we should note that we got a lot of feedback from the public on the new redesign of the marathon.
They're not happy.
So we should plan to discuss that at a future meeting.
Yeah.
But not right now, let them rest.
Maybe, you know.
Well in advance.
Yeah, well in advance.
Maybe I can get a coffee with Jack or something.
Yeah. And then we can remove item 8, I think, from West Main Street left turns Cumberland Farms. That has been resolved, yeah. Let's see. Okay, those are all the obvious ones. I think we can go ahead and remove. Okay, no other agenda items? I think we're ready for the motion.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Bill Kramer, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Amy Roderbush, yes. We hope Cyrus feels better.
Feel better.
Yeah.
Take care.
Give him a kiss for all of us.